Greetings all, Chieftain here. Now I'm sure you've noticed that we've been releasing an interview with Clarence Smoyer. He's the gunner on Eagle 7, which is the T-26E3 filmed destroying the Panther in front of the Cologne Cathedral. If you missed parts 1 and 2, click the link in the description below, and we'll see you back here in a while. Otherwise, for the rest of you, sit back and we'll let Clarence finish his story.
Okay, well, I guess we have to talk about it eventually. So let's talk about Cologne. I'm sorry to make you go through it again. But, I mean, you're famous, your tank is famous, it's on many newsreels and all over the internet, and this was the duel that people say, this proved that Pershing was worth it. Do you think that's true?
Yeah. Anyway, after Blatzheim, we went to a small town. I think it was like Pulin or something like that. That name comes to my head, but I don't know if that's right. But we went to this small town out from Cologne, and there we repaired and replaced the tanks that what could be saved, and rebuilt the cruise. And at that point, I got a letter from my mom back home. And she told me my cousin, his name was Claude Hardy, and my wife Melba's brother were both killed. And that shook me up. I said, well, those bastards, they'll pay for this. I'm not going to show any mercy on the German troops. So anyway, we refitted there and then moved into the edge of Cologne. And we parked besides some buildings for overnight. And I thought we were getting bombed. It sounded like bombs falling around. It was artillery hitting all around us, but they never did hit us. We were close to the building. But finally, come morning, and our Lieutenant Stillman said, "Gentlemen, I give you Cologne. Let's knock the hell out of it." Oh, we're in the goal, and just got down the road a little bit. Here we had an underpass. We had to go through to get to the street into Cologne. And there they had just pushed a whole bunch of old Charlie cars in there to block our way. So they had to pull all those things out of there. And then we could go through and up and onto the highway down into Cologne. We were fighting all the way down there, firing, shooting, bang-bangs. And as we got into the city more, I recall buildings on our left side. Well, when we go in there in battle, the infantrymen that were on the sides of us would be off, and they're going through the houses, side of us, clearing the houses. But I remember seeing a white flag hanging out the window of one of the houses. But
and of course, you're seeing all this just through, this is all you can see from Cologne through your periscope.
Yeah.
I presume you're very dependent on your commander telling you where to look.
Yeah. I figure anything that moves, I'm going to shoot. Anything that moves. I don't want anybody dropping a Molotov cocktail on top of us, which they were famous for doing that. In a bottle with gasoline, putting a wick out, lighting, throw it down on the tanks, and it burst and set the tank afire. But I made up my mind, anything that moves in front of me is a target. I kept watching up there, And if I see movement, I'd spray it with machine gun fire. We kept moving on down. When we came to a halt, and the cameramen were in the top story of this building, and they had a view down at the cathedral, and they told us there's a Mark V tank at the cathedral, and he just knocked out our tanks down on the lower street, and they're getting all the sudden film. But anyway, this Jim Bates, who has a story on his own, he came to the side of our tank and cautioned us about this tank down there. And we said, well, we'll just pull into this intersection far enough to fire, and we'll fire and back away in case our shell doesn't penetrate. So we backed away, and we were ready to start again. And I saw movement over on the left side, the street, across the street. Here's a German tank coming into the intersection. And I said to the tank commander, the tank on the left side that's swung over. By the time I got over there, he was back behind the building. I thought, all right, but that was luck. And I saw him because he would have had a shot at the back of us when we went down.
And that was through your sight. I mean, that was through the periscope.
Yeah.
So you're lucky you had a wide angle on that periscope.
Anyway, as it turned out, that guy got behind the building, and I shot through the building. And they got all this on film. Anyway, eventually I fired, and the whole top of the building broke loose, the top side of the building, and fell down. I didn't know it at the time, but it fell on top of that German tank that had been in there. And I met the gunner from that tank later in years, and he told us that when they got out there, the brakes and everything were in the gears, and they couldn't turn the gun at all. So they got out and tried to escape, but they were captured later on. I met him afterward at the Cologne Cathedral. There's a large area, a patio like back there. The sun brought him in there, and he was standing there. And as I approached him, he was eyeballing me. I got up, I put out my hand. I said, "The war's over. We can be friends now." Yeah, he said. And we with the interpreter, we had an interpreter with us too. We talked back and forth to each other. They had us together once again. Everybody there, the mayor and everybody, taking pictures and carrying on. I said to him, "Maybe I see you again someday." He said, "Ja, im Himmel, in heaven. He's going to meet me in heaven." And shortly after that, he got sick and died then too. So I hope he's saving a place for me up there.
Was that the first German tank that you killed?
At Mons, I knocked the tank out. Mons.
That was with the 75 Sherman?
Yeah. Mons, and then.
So if you work on the Air Force bases, that 5 kills makes you an ace.
Yeah.
You knocked out 5 German tanks, so technically you are an American tank ace.
Yeah, they say that.
Well, anyway, so you've knocked down the building on top of the Mark IV, and you still have the Mark V as a problem.
Yeah. But early on, I didn't know this, but that day that I finally dropped the building on, they were firing down the same street I was. I don't know why, but they were shooting down that area. And I questioned him when I met him later. He said, well, their sights were bad. They couldn't tell, but they were shooting down there. I was shooting down there, and all of a sudden this car came around the corner and down the street, right into the fire. And of course, it was hit. I thought I might have hit it, and the German guy told me later he thought he might have hit it, because he said by the time he saw that was a civilian car, it was too late. He had already pulled the trigger. And anyway, after all that on that side, we finally ran out, and we planned on running out to the middle of the street, fire, and then back away in case our shells didn't penetrate. But when we took off, the driver got excited. Instead of stopping, he went roaring right across the intersection. And I looked, and I saw the German gun coming around for us, and I quick fired. I hit him, and we stopped. Fired again and again. The first time, some of them got out and ran down the street.
When you fired 3 shots, normally, what we do is we shoot until it catches fire, or it changes shape, is what we say. The turret blows off. Was that the same for you, or did you just say, look, let's put 3 rounds into it regardless?
I just kept calling for armor piercing. I knew I hit him, but I didn't want somebody sitting in there and pulling the trigger later on and maybe knocking us out. So I figured I want the tank to burn up, and I fired the second shot, and then the third one hit the fuel supply and went up in flames.
So this was right in front of the Cologne Cathedral.
Right.
Once this was done, did you actually look at the cathedral at all?
I did, but first there's pictures of the generals standing on the steps of the Cologne Cathedral, and right over beside him, lying on the street, is a 500-pound bomb that dropped and never exploded. And I said, oh, holy hell, I'd have got out of there. I'd be afraid to touch that thing. It might set that bomb up and be blowing to hell. I went into the cathedral. There was a winding staircase going up 480 feet. A lot of steps, all the way up there. I got up and looking out over Cologne. Oh, how beautiful it looks out there. And all of a sudden it started to crack like all the Germans were firing artillery shells over. And I guarantee you I got down there a hell of a lot faster than I went up.
Okay. So you've been to Cologne obviously since then. Has coming back to Cologne after the war, I don't know, changed your perception of the city or anything else like that, changed your memories?
I've been back on the tour. One time we went back and we stopped at Cologne, and the bus couldn't get around the corner, so a bunch of our guys from the tour got out, picked the car up, and set it over on the pavements and left it set there. And then they could get around and get through. But I wonder what those people thought when they came out. How the hell did that car get down there?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on a bit. How did you and your T-26 end the war?
Ended
Yeah.
at Dessau by the Elbe River. We fought in Dessau when it was all the business was taken care of. We were not allowed to cross the river. We had to wait for the Russians to come from the other side. And eventually they did come. They were rats. I remember seeing a little kid playing on the pavement, and the Russian soldier come down and kicked him out in the gutter.
Did you interact with the Russians at all? Did you shake hands, have a drink or anything?
With
the Russians?
I did. I don't know how I got involved in this, but the Russians were having a party, high old time, and me and another friend, we were in there, and the women were running around, the guys, and everybody drinking a lot of vodka and getting loaded. And I finally said, I don't think we better hang around here too long. We better get the hell out of here. They're allowed to start fighting and we'll get killed here after the war's almost over. We did get out and get back over to our side, but I never know how we got across the river or anything. And there must have been some kind of a bridge or something across there that we went over.
How did you hear that the Germans surrendered? And what did you think?
Happy days, happy days. This bullshit was all over. That's all. I was glad it was over. But
So was it somebody on the radio? Did somebody shout at you? Or?
I think it came over the radio. We had the radio in the tank. I think it came over the radio.
When I came home from Iraq, it was a very sad day when I said goodbye to my tank. Because I mean, you're on, it's your home, and you're on it forever, and then one day you have to hand the keys over to somebody else. So did you have something similar to that? Some sort of goodbye ceremony? Or anything?
No, but I felt for the tank, and I said to myself, I hope they get a good crew in there, because that's a good tank, and they should take good care of the tank too. But the captain, right around then, when he came and asked me if I would re-up for another hitch, I said, I'm sorry, sir, but I don't enjoy this life, and as soon as I get enough points, I'm out of here.
So when you came back to the US, did you go back with your crew, or were you just on your own with no friends?
No, they broke us up, and I recall going down through the Harz Mountains, and we on that hard seat in the truck bouncing around. But we went to Camp Lucky Strike, and there I met a guy from our hometown of Palmerton. And I'm not going to remember his name now, but I did remember for a long time, because he was a gambler, and I never gambled, but in those camps there, piles of money, stacked piles, they were big time gambling, and he was in on that. He lost all his money, came and borrowed, I think it was $35 or something like that for me, so he could get back into the game. He said, I'll pay you. I know where you live in Palmerton. I'll pay you. He never repaid me, but anyway, he went in there and lost the money again anyway.
Did you have a large bank account when you came back? I mean, you didn't have much to spend it on in France.
Well, I got a good pension when I came home because of that. Where I had the concussion there, I got 100% disability.
Was your boat ride home any better than the boat ride out?
Yeah, we came home on the USS Kendall. And I recall going up to the front of the ship and standing by the railing, and the waves would come in and we'd go way up and then all of a sudden splash down, and I'd quick run back and get away from the water, come and spill over the top.
What port did you come into in the U.S.? You've been away from the U.S. for 2 years.
Yeah.
So the first time you see the U.S. again?
I think it was down there in New Jersey. I think we came in around the same place where we left from.
You didn't need a passport, did you?
No.
You laughed. The very first American Army couldn't leave without a passport.
Well, I had in Cologne. I went to the railroad station, and somebody had already been in there and ripped all the cabinets. And the people store their clothing in there and go on a trip, and they ripped everything open, and it was all glass up over the top. That glass was all down over the floor. But I found a dagger with a swastika on the handle and a silver thread woven down through the grip. And down at the bottom was the eagle's wing spread and a swastika on it. So it was like in the middle of the crap there. I picked it up and thought this will make a nice souvenir. And also there I picked up like a 32 caliber pistol. And I took that too and used to carry that along all the way through. But I always worried if we get knocked out or something, if the Germans catch us, I'm going to be eating that dagger.
I'm not going to say that my time in the army has been always the most pleasant, but I'm very glad I've done it.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you?
Yes. I enjoy going back to Cologne now. When we made our tour, we went through there, but I didn't have much time. But I remember sitting on steps of the hotel there and drinking beer.
What was your best memory in the tank, either in the Sherman or the Pershing? Or just you look back and you go, that was a good time.
I think when we test fired it there, that was a happy time for me. I was afraid I was going to mess up and miss a target, but it was a happy time there for me.
So obviously Eagle 7 is coming into the game, and this means now that a lot of people who probably otherwise would never heard of the tank or of you are now going to know what the tank was, what it did, and who you are. Do you have any opinions on that?
I'm thankful for my tank and the whole crew. We had a good crew. We also had some luck, and somebody else with that little thing in my pocket, a little New Testament in my pocket. I think that helped protect me a little bit too.
Well, okay, so this is what it currently looks like in the game. And I guess some general questions are, what did you get wrong? Like, for example, where did you paint your Regal?
There was no place but up on the side of the turret. That's probably where it would have been.
All right, so you stored rolls on the back?
Yeah, our duffel bags were on the back there.
Whereabouts? Where would you put your duffel?
On the sides, along the sides there.
Oh, on the side here. So these are actually duffel bags, not rolls?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you leave the helmets on the outside?
Steel helmets, yeah. We used to have
Where would you keep those?
I don't know where, but throw it down the floor. I guess.
Oh, inside the tank.
Yeah.
Inside the tank.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I think the photographs we have is with the machine gun with the wrapping around it.
Yeah.
Was that the case in Cologne as well? You didn't use a machine gun much?
We changed ours. We just put a 30 caliber up there instead of 50.
You had a 30 caliber in Cologne.
Yeah, we used to put, we had our 30 caliber. You had more shells in a smaller area. The 50 had a more powerful shells, but it was more cumbersome on the top there too.
But it was in the same place. You put the 30 cal there?
Yeah.
Okay, that
Just took the 50 out and put a 30 caliber in.
interesting. Okay, so we have. Were there any other? So obviously you had the serial number and then you had the shipping information on the back. Did you write anybody girlfriend name or anything on the side or?
No, I don't think.
No. Okay. So I don't think we have on the front bumper. So I seem to recall the reason you called it Eagle 7 was that you actually had a 7, an E7.
Yeah.
Was it at the back only? Or was it at the front?
It was on the side, E company.
Right here.
Yeah, right on the front here.
Oh, right in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those were just fenders there, and the one on our tank. I don't know what we hit, but that fender was bent up a little bit.
It was banged up? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll keep a look at that. You don't know, was that before you got it? It was damaged from
No,
the receiver?
it was damaged, but I don't know if we hit something or something hit us.
Fair enough. Okay, so we have more haversacks on the side.
Yeah.
And then there was a...
Knapsacks, we called them knapsacks.
Knapsacks? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So can you remember what you put on the side of the sponson here, where that rack was?
I think the star must have been on there.
All right. Okay, yeah, we can certainly change the star.
We used to have it on the Shermans. We used to have it down on the sponson, but there's no place down there, so we probably had it.
Had to go up somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so I mean, really, in that case, the big thing is the 30 caliber instead of the 50 caliber. What else would you look at this model and say, to make this my tank, I would change this? Can you think of anything else?
No, it looks like my tank, I think.
So that brings us to an end of the interview. I hope you found it interesting. It gives you a bit of perspective, perhaps. If you're playing Eagle 7 in the game, it's not just a tank, it's also the story of the crew inside it. As World War II veterans are continuing to leave us, the opportunity to get the story from somebody who is actually there is becoming increasingly rare. And it's unfortunate that we didn't have time to stay longer than we did, but what can you do? Anyway, as I said, Clarence himself, his story is coming out in a book in February 19 by the name of Spearhead. So keep an eye out for that. And in